Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. That's IELTS by Pooja. In today's video, we are going to see how we do the mind mapping in speaking module. So if you get a cue card, we often get confused like what we should mention, right? But today I'm gonna showing you a trick which is going to help you on what can you do to score a perfect 7 at least in your speaking module. So what you have to do is, suppose you have this topic, describe a lake, river or sea you have visited, like where you have visited, right? You should say, they are saying what we should include, where the lake or the river is, how often you have visited it, what activities you do there, and explain why you like this particular place. So one thing, I know in exam you don't have time to write questions like this and do a proper mind mapping, but while you're practicing to give your IELTS exam, you can follow this pattern. So what you do is, whichever task you have, whichever cue card you have, write the topic in the middle. So what the topic is, lake visited, and make boxes with each question. So what you have to mention, where the lake is. So see where and how often you visited there and why you go to that location. See why you like that particular place, who you go there with, like with family, friends, or whatever you want to cover, and what activities. So you told what activities or the stories about that, like what things you like about that. You can say the lake, river, or sea. So I made a rough note here where I marked it as Lake District National Park. Or you can mention any other. It could be a holy river, it could be anything that you know about. So you wrote it down and you know when you go. So usually you see we go to the lakes or the rivers or the oceans or the seas, like whenever it's summertime, right? So you say every summer for many years. And then it's like why you go there. You find the scenery there amazing, breathtaking. So the scenery there is breathtaking and the atmosphere is tranquil. It means peaceful, nice, mesmerizing, like everything you want to add. You can add any of the words if you want here. This is just to give you a hint when you're giving your cue card there. And then you will mention you often go there with your friends and family and what you use there or what are the activities you follow. See, you do kayaking, accelerating, and what you do there, you do jet skiing, sailing, walking, food. You can say you do barbecue with your family, you make sand castles with your kids, anything you want to mention. Now you would be like, okay, you have made these points, how we can get it converted into a essay or a cue card which we have to give. So with all the points I have here, what I'm going to do is, here we are going to discuss the essay right now, the cue card, that what you are going to mention. So you started with the very first line that I'm going to talk about a lake or river I have visited. So you started from here, the introduction. You mentioned that the lake is in the Lake District area, which is the northwest of England, or wherever the place it is. It's in Canada, India, Australia, wherever it is. As you can guess by the name, so I added one extra line mentioning, like as the way you have mentioned the name, it is very famous for its beautiful lakes. So obviously the Lake District, the national park, they should be famous for their beautiful lakes that we have mentioned. The area is also known as the lakes and it's the national park. So you see how within these points we have covered this question and this one is done. Now next, I have visited it many times because I live only a few hours away from there. Now they have asked how often you have visited it. You mentioned it that you visit there many times because it's only few hours away from your location. Now to extend this question, because remember we need to make the speaking like 1 to 2 minutes approximately, like when you're preparing, irrespective whether your examiner is listening to your cue card for half a minute or full minute. So what you say is, I have visited many times. I usually go every summer. So you mentioned like you go there every summer, and I have been going for many years now, probably since this. So if some of you have moved to Canada and you want to mention that you started going to the lake when you came here, you can do that. Like since last 5 years, you have been visiting that lake every year with your friends and family. So what we do there, we used to go a lot in my summer holidays when I was at school. So this is like the different points we have added. You also mentioned you go there with your mom, dad, your family, and with your friends quite a time. Now what they are saying, there are lots of, now it's for the activities, that what activities you do there. So what you say, you do a lot of activities there. At this lake we go to there a lot of water sports. So obviously water is associated with water sports. So this is the key. You see how we are relating them. You mentioned you do a lot of water sports there, like jet skiing, sailing, kayaking, and different. And they said there are plenty to do even if you don't like those kind of activities. And you are mentioning that that place has more than these activities if you don't like to do the jet skiing, sailing, or kayaking. You can go walking around the lake. See, the walking word we have used, like you can go walking there or further out into the areas around the lake, because there are many areas which are really beautiful. So everything you are mentioning with the beautiful, the beauty of the lake. And then you are saying one of the best thing I have done is, then you do a little storytelling if in case you need to increase your topic, that you did the kayaking trip there or whatever, or you did the sailing, the jet skiing, or anything. And you mentioned that there were some white water rapids, so I went on those with a friend. We started it with a group of others at a calm part of the river with the guide, as well as to make sure everyone was safe. So you mentioned that you did it with your friends and you did it in such a way that it was safe as you were with some mentor. And then you mentioned the reason why I like this place so much is that although there are lots of exciting activity, it is surrounded with sea. You mentioned again why you like this particular place, because this is really relaxing, tranquil, stunning views on the way, and so on. And the last, so that's a lake that I visited, and I am sure I will continue there in the future. So this is a perfect example of 7 bands speaking, at least with a proper amount of vocabulary, all the questions covered, no grammatical error, and with good examples. Stay tuned for my upcoming new videos.